The motto of the Colorado Authors League is fostering the art and craft of authorship. And that's exactly what Dr. Colorado Noel, the 2018 Cal Lifetime Achievement Award recipient, has been doing for decades as a professor of history at the University of Colorado, Denver. He does this by emphasizing, here's what to tell people about, rather than here's what happened.
We focus a lot on writing, and so I try to get them to focus on their own families, often with Hispanic or Native American students. They aren't really interested in writing so much, but they love storytelling. So to try to get them to tell the story of their family or their grandma or their grandpa is fun.
Tom's own first book is an example of what he guides his students to do.
My very first book was Richtofen's Montclair, a history of the neighborhood I've lived in most of my life in East Denver, wrapped around the Richthofen Castle, which makes us an unusual neighborhood with an unusual story. But I've tried to get students to do that too, your own neighborhood. Instead of writing another book about Babydoe Tabor or something that's been written about endlessly, what about your own neighborhood, which probably has never been written up in book length? And then again, it was often a matter of interviewing people and getting their stories of the good old days when there were antelope out here and rabbits or whatnot.
Tom has won 4 Cal Writing Awards. One was for a book titled Colorado Catholicism, which was written upon the 125th anniversary of the Archdiocese of Denver.
That was fun to do. Tried to go to every single parish, the Vietnamese Catholic Church, the Black Catholic Church, the Hispanic parishes, and write a parish by parish. And I tried to go to Mass in every parish. I didn't make them all. They assured me, Archbishop Stafford, that this book would get me into heaven. And I need some kind of written evidence or something I can take with me.
53 books bear Tom's name as author, but he is quick to share the credit.
That's with co-authors, and so I should say one reason I've been able to publish 53 books is I have graduate students who would help me with the research, and sometimes there was money I could actually pay them rather than just sheer exploitation. And so that was kind of fun. A lot of them enjoyed writing up, in the case of Colorado Catholicism, their own parishes.
Many of Dr. Colorado's students are published authors in their own right.
That's one of the greatest things. I think about 20 of them have been published. And I'm particularly proud because they ask me often to write a blurb or an introduction or a foreword. Of course, there's no greater thrill than seeing your own students getting published. Deborah Faulkner, for instance, now the historian at the Brown Palace Hotel, has done 7 books. One of them, Touching Tomorrow, a wonderful story of Emily Griffith, where she solves the murder case of Emily Griffith and her sister.
Tonight's award is not the first in Tom's long career. An earlier one that also speaks to his contributions to authorship is the Thomas Hornsby Farrell Lifetime Achievement Prize.
He was an amazing man, and I've used his books in teaching history because I say if you're tired of this dull prose, take a look at a poet who writes history. He was the mainstay of the Colorado Authors League too, and we published at Fulcrum Publishing anthology. Sadly, his prose and his poetry were all out of print, and so we did a selection of his best poetry and his best prose.
Tom Noel joined the Colorado Authors League in 1979, and when he was informed that he would receive the 2018 Cal Lifetime Achievement Award, he said, "I am humbled and honored."
Cal is on the top of my list. I think it's great that there's somebody out there speaking for authors. As you know, it's a kind of a lonely business, and often you publish and expect some acclaim, and there's a big silence, and you wonder if anybody's ever read that book or why you ever did it.
Tom has been known as Dr. Colorado since 1977, but not everyone knows the story behind that title.
Lou Cady gave me that name. He called me, this was when I was a PhD student at Boulder working on my bars of Denver. As you knew, he loved his bars, so we got in touch over bars. But he called me one day out of the blue, and this was a point in my life when I was mowing yards for, I think, $1 a yard for the whole yard. And he said, "Would you like to be Dr. Colorado?" And I said, "What? What's that, Lou?" He says, we want you to come down for conventions and sit in at the convention center. We're going to have a little booth for you that'll say the doctor is in, the doctor is out, so you can go to the bathroom or go get a beer or whatever. And I'm going to make a lab coat for you that will say Dr. Colorado across the chest, which I still have. So I was supposed to answer, history about the best old-time restaurant or what's the Buckhorn Exchange restaurant. And I sit in the booth, and of course the big question you get is where's the bathroom? Is the Georgetown train still running this weekend, or where should we go to dinner tonight? So that was a great job, and that's how I became Dr. Colorado.